Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to get started on the PowerCon debut of the Cosmic Legion SSkur'ge. I have the default head on. We already know he comes with that cool dragon head, but for those of you who only see like the thumbnail and you're wondering what's going on, that is what's happening. This is our default head. And let's talk about it. I am not really a Motu guy, but I've always loved like certain characters. So there's stuff like the Griffin, Battle Lion, King Grayskull, Fisto. I don't know why, and Man at Arms is like the best for me. Those are like my guys, but I was never really heavy into it. If you want that heavy history, ask Dan and Dan, which is Pixel Dan and Dan Larson. They have like the history of that stuff. But I love this figure. Like we all know that I loved Kragnar, and this is a recolor with a new tail and a new head, some new parts. But something about this green and this sculpt just work for me. I really do love it, which is why I'm reviewing SSkur'ge and Kragnar within like a 2-month period. So let's get started. If you don't know the articulation already, you can watch it with Kragnar, or you can just continue watching this video. So let's talk about it. We will have a beautiful double jointed head, and this head allows for a lot of movement of up and down, right? You can tilt side to side, as you can see here. We can shift to the left and to the right. Right? So you'll get a lot of expression. The thing about this head, though, and this is what's pretty crazy about it, the thing about this head, that it seems very generic and plain, almost like a baby dragon. There's still a scar from that original point of the figure, but when you talk about your alternative sculpt, that's where you get your bread and butter out of this figure that I truly do enjoy. One of the other cool things I want to talk about is that with these, the start of this figure, at least for the half giant scale, right, we started getting an ab crunch. So these are the first of the half giants with an ab crunch, so we can crunch forward. This is why I'll be able to get a cool bunch of like hulking like pics from hunching over, and it adds a ton more expression to the figure. Our arms can hit the T-pose. Oop, but I get a little too strong for obvious reasons, as you saw there. Even pop the leg up, right? So we can hit our T-pose. And if you're having trouble, just remember there are some scalings here. So if you want to rotate that around or you want to move it around, just remember to do so. But the scales, not scaling, sorry, will get in the way here on the side. So just be ever so careful. I'm going to twist them back up. You'll also get an inverted ball joint here at the waist. And, oh, you know what? The inverted ball joint, I want to talk about that because it's a little different for this guy. Now, you are actually going to get a tail of which I just put on him, and it does not start on him. To do so, what you're going to do is you're going to heat up the figure, you're going to pop the torso off, and you'll be able to pop your tail on. It is literally just a wrap around of the ball joint. You'll get this little bit of articulation at one point there. You can wiggle around side to side here as well, but, sorry, now you can wiggle side to side. So you'll have that. Please be aware if you're having trouble with your tail, I highly recommend you heat it up and pop it off and then pop it back on. Don't just try to rip it out. That's how you break ball joints. I know it's the summertime for us, and this is the PowerCon debut one, but easily when the wave does ship, it's one of those things where it could, it could be wintertime. So just be careful. I just want to put that out there for you guys. We have our wrist joints that are on horizontal pegs. We have a single joint that rotates here at the forearm. Want to make sure I talk about those things. And because of our tail, which I'm going to go back to, it does hinder our inverted ball joint here for whiplash, which is why this upper torso piece is going to be putting in that extra work for you with this guy. Like I said, it's one of those things where it doesn't bother anything for me because I'm going to have some fun with it, but it could easily bother somebody else as a collector. If that's a thing that's not for you, I totally get it, but it still works for me. As far as our leg articulation goes, just like Kragnar, we can go outward, we can go forward. We have a single joint. You can also rotate at that gauntlet slash boot. And then we have super generous ankle pivot, which mine is pretty tight right now, but it's all there. Oop. And I popped it out. Thank God for modular parts, man. It's not one of those things where it breaks because I am rough. But Kragnar is a cool guy. And listen. I said Kragnar. See, I'm tripping. But SSkur'ge, I should say, because I said Kragnar and I shouldn't have said that. But I love the look of this guy. But I'm a little out of my element here because I'm actually trying out some new lighting, and I really do enjoy it. So I'm probably going to get one more light to balance out a little bit more of the crazy lighting, but I do like it. I like experimenting, man. This is fun. Oh, by the way, we also have a thigh swivel. I'm getting a little too excited and besides myself. But with this beautiful look and this beautiful scales and this beautiful green color for our tribute figure, this is a Motu tribute. As you can see here, looks really, really solid. But it may not be one of those things that sets you over the edge. And this is where the accessories come in. And I was just like, man, I had to have it. I had to. I saw Trevor's photos and I lost my mind. And that is because accessory wise, right? I'm not even going to take a break. We're going to go straight through it like I usually do. And here we are with our beautiful dragons, space dragon, I should say, head sculpt. Look at this. Sensational. I love everything about this. Look at this. It has an opening mouth. It opens up very widely, by the way. So that means when you want to spit fire, you got it. You got a little tonsil there as well. It's painted in there. This is a beautiful sculpt. And as far as changing the look, for me, it really does change the look. I'm going to pop this on off screen so I can make sure it's popped all the way in there. Right? Going to change around the pose just a little bit. And look at this. Look at this guy now. Completely different vibe from him. Completely different. So when we had this sculpt on, it didn't feel like much. This is why I love this figure. Right? Look at this. Completely different sculpt, completely different vibe. But just, this is a beautiful figure now because of it. Sometimes a head sculpt does make a difference. And in this case, it completely changes the figure for me. I love this. As well as with that, we will get 2 other sets of hands. As you can see, we have our open clawed hands here. But with this guy, you will get a set of fists as well. And then we will get our item holding hands. All of these hands are on horizontal pegs and not vertical pegs, which doesn't bother me for the half giant scale. I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's okay. You will get a 2-pronged mace where you can combine it into a giant staff mace, just like the other half giants. You will get a trident, and you'll get a scimitar long blade. These are all of the accessories that you'll get with Skurge. Like I said, this head sculpt really puts it over the edge. I'm gonna pop that off because I don't know if you guys can see it. There's this beautiful no bleed here. We have the different spike scalings as well, right? Like if I knew how to paint, I would do one of these in orange just so I can have an orange dragon as well. Dennis Darby, if you're watching, make me an orange dragon sculpt, please. Please. But yeah, utterly beautiful. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to break out some figures to talk about in our size comparison. Now I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright, now we're at the size comparison. So, first thing I'm going to do is put him up against Kragnar, which you can probably hear me tuning him in the background. And then here we are, and we can see how a few changes in the color palette can and will make a difference. It's one of those things where I think this is magnificent. It's just enough change to make you want a new character, but also like if you don't want to, you don't have to. It just works, and I really enjoy that. Where it's like, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm really enjoying that. Now, when we do a size comparison with another large figure, I finally got a chance to pick up one of these guys over at PowerCon. Here we are with a McFarlane Mega Fig from The Witcher, and I feel like this works really well as a big guy with a big guy. You know what I mean? This is a big figure. But, yeah, you can see these are tall dudes. Big boys. Next up, we have Cosmic Legion's Slog, which is not necessarily he's like its own scale right now, but he is a really cool figure. He's also green, so it works out. Green is like the theme today. So let's take this guy away. Next up, we have Operative, also from Cosmic Legions, making his PowerCon debut. So you can see Legions-wise, you can see just how these guys fare off with each other. He's so small compared to him. Next up, I have a NECA Predator. Since we're out in space, I figured this is a good time to make this combination. Right? I'm going to leave Operative there for a while so you can just see how big and small it is. Right? Then we have Blight from Animal Warriors of the Kingdom by Sparrow Toys. So here we go with Blight. As you can see, big boys rule the camp, right? Next up, we have not necessarily Motu, but we have Sunman, who is also in the Masterverse. And I actually like the way this character looked, so I picked him up. So I kept him around. So here we are with Sunman. Looking really, really solid. Right? Next up, we're going to have all our smaller characters come along the way. So here we are with a Marvel Legends Black Panther on the Vulcan body. Right? Then we have SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Shin Kamen Rider Ichigo. This is a third-party set on him. And as you can see, he is a little dude in comparison to most of these guys. So we know where SHF stands from. I can now remove Operative as we jump into some other stuff. So here we are. Ooh, here we are with a Valorverse rollout. Get you standing. Then we have a G.I. Joe Outback. Right. Ooh, let me fix those feet. See how those guys kind of stack up. Next up, we have a Foosh Toys Sakit. And then, just for fun, I'm going to throw this guy in because I thought it was important. Here we are with a 1/18 scale. Just in case you want your dragon to be like gigantic and tower over 1/18 scale. Here we are with a 1/18 scale Ichigo. So you can see how he stacks up. So there you have that. Oh, I also have a dwarf. Right? From Mythic Legions. So yeah. You know what time it is. Unfortunately, I forgot to put the little cats in the background, but they'll be in there for next videos, I promise. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for enjoying. And most of all, just sharing and enjoying what I'm doing. It's one of those things where I find things like this really fun. I'm really glad to be doing it. And we're ever so close to the 100K mark. And it's one of those things that's been a slow rise. But I'm okay with that because slow is better than none at all. And that means, most importantly, people are enjoying it. And I appreciate that. So, as always, please be good, do good, drink your water, guys. Later.